You know what? I just filmed an unboxing video and it's 4:30 now, and I was gonna go to bed, but no, we're gonna talk about The Bad Batch. So The Bad Batch is written and directed by Amirpour. This is her second film. She also wrote and directed A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which I loved, and I loved this movie too. When I saw A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, I loved it. It was so different and cool, and I wanted to know more about who directed it, and surprisingly it was her feature film, and her second one is awesome as well. And she is really just a creative powerhouse. I rented it on Amazon a few days ago. The first time I watched it I was like, and then I wanted to watch it again to see if I had the same reaction, and the second time I watched it I just had a completely different reaction. The movie, I feel, doesn't have like a 3-act structure. I just feel like it's like a mission. So it starts off with Arlen, our lead character. She is played by Suki Waterhouse. I believe this is Suki's first film, and she was awesome in this. So in the beginning, they're tattooing a number behind her ear, and she is exiled to the desert, and I believe they're in Texas. And if you're part of the Bad Batch, you're exiled like past the Texas border, I believe, and you can't come back. So whatever is outside that fence, you're not protected by the United States, and you don't have to live by their laws, and they just don't want anything to do with you. Which I don't know if she was trying to symbolize border laws or immigration, but that was the setting. So Arlen is just wandering the desert, and she gets captured by some cannibals who are part of the Bridge People clan, and she's knocked out, and then it jumps to the next scene where she's tied up on the floor and this lady is cutting her arm and her leg off. So she escapes by rubbing shit all over her face and her body so that the cannibal that captured her could unchain her so she could wash her off, and then, you know, she beats the shit out of her and she escapes. Like, she's literally on a skateboard. And there was a skateboard in A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night too. There's a lot of similar things in that movie and in this movie I noticed. So she's just rolling on her skateboard with her arm and her leg missing, and this guy puts her in his cart and he pushes her to a place called Comfort, which is another clan. And a lot of people there are missing arms and legs too because they had escaped from the Bridge People clan. So they jump to 5 months later, and she has a prosthetic leg and she's functioning well. She has her own place, and the place called Comfort is a lot safer than the Bridge People place, and there's a fence around it, and they have armed gang members like with machine guns, like just guarding it all the time. So from there on, it's Arlen trying to find out where she belongs in this new world that she has been exiled to. So let me get into some of the characters. Jason Momoa plays Miami Man, and he is part of the cannibal group. So the first scene you see him in is this super gay porn montage of these bodybuilders just working out, and I'm thinking, like, how did they get so big? But it kind of makes sense because they eat people, and that's a lot of protein. So you see him interact with his daughter, so he's just doing what he has to feed his family. And he also has a person chained to his place, and he totally snaps her neck and fillets and grills her, like listening to Karma Chameleon. And in that cannibal place, they played Asa Bass, All That She Wants, and Karma Chameleon by Culture Club, and that makes sense too because it's like whatever music they can find is what they're listening to. So his story is something happens where his daughter and baby mama are missing, and he has to go find them. And I'm so excited for his Aquaman movie. This is the first time I've ever seen him in a movie other than that little snippet in BVS, but he's wearing no shirt in the whole movie, and he's like 100% beefcake. So Lisa Bonet, good job, girl. And Keanu Reeves plays the Dream. He runs that Comfort place, and he's always surrounded by this harem of pregnant women, and they carry machine guns, and they have these white t-shirts that say, I have, or the dream is inside me. Those are his Manson girls. And his performance was very Keanu Reeves mixed with like a hippie Hugh Hefner. He was really funny in this movie. There was this scene where he was like, you shit, right? And when you take a shit, your shit goes away. That's because of me. His whole character was hilarious. And Diego Luna's in it too, just for a little bit. He's smoking the whole time, and he's a DJ, and he's wearing underwear and a cowboy hat. And then Giovanni Ribisi, he's one of those like You know that when you walk down the street in San Francisco and there's those homeless screaming prophets where they like just like blurt out whatever, like that was him. And he was really dirty and kind of nuts, but funny. He was really funny. Too much Scientology though. And I knew Jim Carrey was going to be in it because when I read about it, his name was attached to it. But the whole first viewing, I didn't see him. I was like, oh, maybe he was in the party or something. No, he plays the homeless guy. He's wearing like a visor, he had his head covered, and you know, his skin was all dirty, and he didn't speak throughout the whole movie. He plays the scavenger, and he just kind of wanders through the desert, you know, picking up what he can, and he doesn't eat people. There's one scene where he captured a crow with his shirt, and he cooked it, and nobody has tried to eat him, nobody paid attention to him, just like the homeless people on the street that a lot of people ignore. He actually saved a couple characters in the movie. His role was very sweet, like his role kind of was the heart of the movie. So before I rented it, I actually watched a couple of YouTube reviews because I wanted to know kind of what the movie was about, and a lot of people did not like it. Probably 4 out of 5 reviews were kind of negative, and I understand why it's not for everybody. If you want a traditional movie, this is not for you. And I don't know, I thought it was really cool. I thought the setting was cool. There's this one really beautiful shot where Jason Momoa's character and Suki Waterhouse's character were in oh, is it a sandstorm or a windstorm? So they're covering themselves with a sheet, and the sheet is just like moving, and you can see both of them just looking at each other. When I saw that scene, I was like, oh, it's gonna be a love story. And yeah, it's a little bit of love story, it's a little bit of a girl trying to find her way story. So I thought that part was really sweet. I only have a few negatives. There's a scene where there was a rave thrown by Keanu Reeves, and there's like this huge boom box that's like the size of a room that looks really cool. I don't know where they got that thing from, and everyone who enters the rave has to take this drug. I didn't like that whole trippy scene because Arlen takes the drug and then she's just like, I have to leave comfort. I have to wander around the desert. These little bright lights are everywhere, and she's tripping. I felt like that scene was a little bit too long. And then also Jason Momoa's accent. He's Hawaiian in real life, and Miami Man is Cuban, so he puts on a Cuban accent in this movie, but I felt like it was over the top. Like, I felt like it was a parody of a Cuban accent. It was just weird. I felt like they could have had him just do a Spanish accent or in his regular voice, because every time he talked, I was like, he mumbled a lot. And then also part of my realistic brain was thinking, if they're in the desert, where are they getting water? How are their toilets flushing? Funny, because the end of this movie is the same as the ending to A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, where they're just sitting in the car and looking at each other, because the end of this movie, that's what they're doing too. They're just sitting there looking at each other. And Suki Waterhouse is actually British, but in the movie she has a Texan accent, I believe, and I thought her accent was great. Like, I didn't even notice that she was British. I think she pulled the movie along really well. I thought she was a strong female character. Like, she was definitely determined. I recommend the movie. It's not for everybody, but I really liked it. I'm kind of sick of watching these bullshit, like, you know, cookie cutter movies. Like, when I watch a movie like this, it makes me really happy, because creativity is everything when it comes to art, and the whole concept was really cool and like nothing I've ever seen before. So let me know if you saw it, what you thought of it, and I'll see you guys in my next video.